Chapter 3309. A hymn. Little Bean coughed violently and tried to change the subject. Hey, let me tell you. There's a new dessert shop on Chuntao Road. The coconut milk sago is delicious. Don't change the subject. Tell me who's Gao Bun. Lu Yen pressed. Auntie, why don't you ask me who Wei Yunchu is? Little Bean chuckled. Qin Mumu, do you want to die? Qin Zhao Zhao, you can't be so violent to me. We share the same mother. Little Bean retorted shamelessly. I don't share the same mother as you. How can you treat your twin sister like this? Little Bean was displeased that Little Bean betrayed her at this critical moment. You're the older sister. It's normal for you to take the blame. Calm down. You must calm down. Little Bean smiled. Auntie, don't listen to her nonsense. Little Bean leaned her head on Lu Yan's shoulder. Lu Yan nodded and continued to pinch Little Bean's face lovingly. I'm not interested in Wei Yunchu. I'm interested in Gao Bun. Auntie, how do you know about Bun? Did my mommy tell you? Little Bean suspected that she had been betrayed by her mommy. How come I'm implicated? Huamin was lying on the armchair in front of them, playing with his cell phone and browsing Weibo. He felt wronged when he heard that he was implicated. Your auntie has the best intelligence network in the world. I can find out anything I want in a minute. Really? Don't brag. Little Bean obviously didn't believe it. Then I'll show you something. Here, I'll show you something. Lu Yen pressed the button on her watch and an operation interface appeared in the air. Little Bean were dazzled by Lu Yan's actions. Finally, she stopped at a search page. Say a person's name and try it. Really? There are so many people with the same name in the world. If you say a name, won't a bunch of names appear? Little Bean was doubtful. Try it. Lu Yen smiled and put her arms around Little Bean's neck. Alright, then I'll say it. Cough cough Su. Little Bean yelled Suyu's name at Lu Yan's system engine in midair. 3 seconds later, all of Suyu's information appeared on the front page. His age, height, weight, constellation, ancestral home, current residence, position, family background, and experience were all recorded in great detail from kindergarten until now. There were also photos of Suyu at different ages. Some of the photos were so rare that not even Huamin had seen them before, let alone the twins. This information could only be said to be the most detailed in history. Wow, Auntie, are you a spy? You're from the intelligence department, right? Little Bean was dumbfounded. He was completely convinced. What do you think? Lu Yen asked with a smile. I'm kneeling. Little Bean raised her little hands and bowed, looking extremely comical. Auntie, you can find out just about anyone here? Pudding asked curiously. Yeah. There are so many people with the same name. How can you be sure that the Suyu that Little Bean mentioned is our handsome Su? Pudding was curious. Because the system automatically identifies the most famous person with the same name. Suyu is famous in China, so it's not hard for him to appear on the front page. What if it's an ordinary person? Pudding asked again. You'll have to exclude them from the list of people with the same name. For example, you'll have to input something more specific, such as address and age. Got it. That's awesome. Pudding gave her a thumbs up. I came here in a hurry and didn't have time to go out and buy gifts. What do you two want? Lu Yen patted their heads. Chapter 3310. Can we not give you a present? I heard Auntie is as rich as a country. Then we'll take US dollars, Little Bean said with a grin. Ha! You little brat. Little Bean, don't ask Auntie for money. Huamin didn't like his daughter's bad habit. Mommy, I'm just teasing Auntie. We're not poor, right? Little Bean immediately explained. Auntie, don't listen to Little Bean's nonsense. We don't want money. We're happy that Auntie came to visit us. Little Bean hugged Lu Yan's shoulder and said coquettishly. Hey, you two are the first people who dared to tease Auntie. You're pardoned. Then Lu Yan took out 2 bundles of US dollars from her military-grade purse and handed them to the sisters. Well, I was just joking. You really have money? Little Bean exclaimed. Of course. Auntie must fulfill your wish. Lu Yan might be exaggerating when she said she was as rich as a country, but she was definitely a super rich woman. She had so much money that she couldn't even count it. She was different from other girls in that she didn't like to wear branded clothes or carry branded purses. However, the things she used weren't cheap at all. They were even more expensive than luxury goods because she used military factories. The seemingly simple waterproof purse she was wearing was said to be worth as much as 180,000 yuan on the black market. Only a top mercenary commander like Lu Yen could afford it. Yen, don't give them money. They're still young. Huamin immediately stopped her. Just don't worry. It's not a lot. I just brought some change for them to play with. Plus, US dollars don't work here. Lu Yen chuckled. Andy, you're so rich. I admire you so much. Pudding held the bundle of US dollars and exclaimed from the bottom of her heart. She had heard the conversation between her auntie and her mother very clearly. Auntie said it was just some change for them to play with. But Pudding was very sensitive to money. She touched the bundle of US dollars and knew it was at least 20,000 yuan. How much was 20,000 US dollars? Now that the exchange rate of US dollars had risen, it was as much as 150,000 yuan. 2 3-year-old kids, 20,000 US dollars each. That's 150,000 yuan? Was this really just pocket change? Yes, Lu Yan's money was nothing to Pudding, so she couldn't help but admire her auntie's wealth. What's wrong? Do you want to work with me? Lu Yan teased her. Forget it. I won't be able to learn all of auntie's skills. I plan to invest in stocks and venture capital when I grow up and help my dad manage a few companies. Pudding had already made plans for herself. Haha, little girl, not bad, right? You're ambitious. What about you, Little Bean? What do you want to be when you grow up? Lu Yan pinched Little Bean's chubby cheeks lovingly. Me? I don't have any dreams. My sister's dream is the Sea of Stars and my dream is to eat, drink and play. That's a great wish. Lu Yan laughed. Yeah, but you can't blame me. My family is very rich. My dad can make money, my mommy is very capable and my sister is obsessed with making money. It shouldn't be hard for the three of them to support me. Plus, my husband can support me in the future, so I'll just eat, drink and play. I don't need to have dreams, Little Bean explained with a clear conscience. Annie, did you see that? Little Bean is always so shameless. Pudding pointed at her sister and teased her. Come on, I'm not shameless. I'm just being casual. Life is short, so we should enjoy ourselves. At this moment, Huamin turned his head and saw that they had arrived at Xian's Ramen. We're here. Let's get out of the car. Wow, isn't that Daddy's car? He arrived earlier than us? Little Bean looked out the window. Chapter 33:11. When Huamin and Lu Yan got out of the car with the twins, they saw Qin Chu's car parked in front of the entrance. It wasn't easy to see a luxury car worth tens of millions in a small alley like this, so a lot of people were looking at the car. There were even some people who kept taking pictures or taking selfies with selfie sticks. There was even an old lady with a 7 or 8-year-old boy who wasn't satisfied with taking selfies. The old lady even carried the boy up and put him on the hood of Qin Chu's car. Qin Chu was driving a silver limited edition commemorative Audi R8. It was low-key and luxurious. There were only 10 of them in the world, and it was said that the buyer's identity was very strict. Qin Chu was one of the top entrepreneurs in China, so the German HQ also checked GK's HQ in the United States. They finally approved the car, and it was said that the price of this car was as high as 9.88 million yuan. Just the tax alone was enough to buy a luxurious Mercedes-Benz. Qin Chu originally wanted to drive it for Huamin because Huamin loved Audi very much. But now that Huamin was pregnant, he couldn't drive a sports car like the R8 anymore. He could only take the RV, so Qin Chu drove the car. Damn it. That kid is sitting on the hood of Daddy's car. How pretentious. Little Bean was very unhappy. He's just taking a picture. Huamin smiled and didn't think much of it. Huamin was about to enter the store with his daughter when the little boy stood up. She stomped on the hood of the machine and jumped with all her might. Huamian couldn't stay calm anymore. Manny, can you let the kid get out of the car first? Huamin asked politely. It's not your car. Why do you care? Mind your own business. The old lady glared at Huamin. This is my family's car. This is my daddy's car. Pudding couldn't help but stand up and say loudly. So what if it's your car? I'm just taking a picture. The old lady said confidently. You can take pictures, but you don't have to climb up. Are you scared? Your kid is stepping on the hood of the car. What's the meaning of this? Little Bean couldn't suppress her anger. Children are mischievous. They're just playing. It's not like they're stepping on them. Why are they shouting? If you break it, can you afford to pay for it? Little Bean roared angrily. Forget it, Little Bean. Let them take pictures. Huamin felt that it wasn't easy for the old and the young, so he didn't want to argue with them. However, what happened next left everyone speechless. Grandma, I want to pee. Let's go. Grandma will carry you to the toilet. No, I want to stand here and pee. The cars here are very nice. The little boy refused to give up. Logically speaking, this was a 7-year-old child. He should be sensible, but such a rude request. Instead of scolding him, the old lady indulged him. Then I'll give you some support. You pee on the ground. No, I want to pee on the car. The child continued to be stubborn. Then pee. Come on. Grandma will take off your pants. Hey, old lady. Are you crazy? Lu Yan finally couldn't stand it anymore and walked over with a sneer. After we pee, I'll wipe it for you. Why are you yelling at us? We're just kids. How can you be so heartless? Heartless? You're talking about heartless with me? Lu Yan's face darkened. Chapter 33:12. Hey, you're such a pretty girl. How can you talk to me like that? Old madam, people need their dignity. Don't take advantage of your seniority, okay? Others may spoil me, but I, Lu Yan, won't spoil you. You're too much. The old madam was furious. She held the child in her arms and argued with Lu Yan. However, she didn't get out of the car. The child was jumping around in the car. There's a kind of people like you. They're used to measuring others by the standards of a saint, but they measure themselves by the standards of a bitch. Auntie well said. I'll give you a thumbs up. Little Bean smiled brightly behind her. Pudding's eyes were also opened. It was the first time she saw her auntie arguing with someone. It was so satisfying. And forget it. Let's go in and have some noodles. Huamin thought the old woman and the child were the weaker party. Even if he wasn't a saint, he couldn't continue arguing with them. Otherwise, if a passerby took a picture of them, people would say that they bullied the old, the weak, and the sick the next day. In order not to cause trouble, Huamin didn't want Lu Yan to continue arguing with the old madam. But Lu Yan wouldn't agree. She wasn't someone who could stand being bullied. Just take the child in first. I'll be there in a minute. Lu Yan didn't even look back. Huamin didn't want to. Qin Chu had already ordered ramen. Seeing that they were at the door but didn't go in, he came out to see what was going on. What's going on? Qin Chu walked over and put his arm around Huamin's shoulder. Your sister-in-law is arguing with an old madam to protect your luxury car. Huamin summarized the situation briefly. Mr. Qin was slightly speechless. Then he said in a low voice, my sister-in-law is indeed fierce. Everyone come and see this. This woman is unreasonable. She bullied an old woman and a child. She has no conscience. Hurry up and take a video of her and post it on the internet. Let the netizens scold her. Young people nowadays don't respect the old and love the young. Respecting the old and loving the young depends on who we are, not people like you. Let's look at it from another angle. If our children peed on your luxury car, would you agree? Old madam, don't try to use moral coercion, got it? Hurry up and get your little brat down here, or else I won't be polite anymore. Bad woman, I'll beat you to death. That little boy must have been very spoiled at home. Therefore, when he heard Lu Yan ask him to come down, he didn't regret it. Instead, he scolded Lu Yan and made faces at her. Fuck, this little bastard is really something. I'm going to scratch him to death. Little Bean couldn't help but roll up her sleeves and rush up. Calm down. Auntie can handle it alone. Let's just watch quietly. Pudding grabbed the corner of her sister's shirt. Everyone, please be reasonable. They're bullies. Just because they're rich, they bully us commoners. They have no dignity. Will the police do anything about it? Stop yelling. The police won't care about shameless things like this, Lu Yan said. Damned girl, if I lie down here today, you won't be able to leave without 100,000 yuan. Seeing that no one was helping her, the old woman sneered and threatened Lu Yan. Ever since the incident of the old woman helping an old woman on the street turned into a vicious incident, many old people blackmailed young people. They were heartless. Try it. You can try it. I'll tell you. I won't just beat you up. I'll run over your car and do it over and over again until you're dead. When I'm satisfied, I'll throw 2 million yuan to your descendants. But you won't be able to enjoy it. Your ashes might be blown away by the wind. With my current financial strength, I can afford to kill 1,000 old women like you every day. Do you believe me? Lu Yan said viciously. Chapter 33:13. The old lady's face turned pale with fright. She had been a troublemaker all her life, but this was the first time she had encountered someone like this. It was terrifying. In the past, when she threatened the rich people, they would give in to her obediently. She didn't expect the little girl in front of her to want to kill her. Grandma. Seeing Lu Yan's ferocious eyes, the little boy seemed a bit scared. He didn't dare to mention peeing again. Come on, lie down. I've prepared the money to pay for your life. Lu Yan crossed her arms. Let's go to. The old lady was so scared that her legs turned to jelly. She picked up the child from the machine, put him under her armpit and rushed out of the crowd. Her footsteps were light and light. After the old lady left, the people around her started to clap. Lu Yan was a bit confused. What was going on? Girl, you did a good job teaching her a lesson. This old lady is not very popular and always comes here to extort money. This time she's well behaved. Yeah, pretty girl, you did a good job. The atmosphere changed so fast that Lu Yan didn't know what to say. See, evil can't prevail over good. There are more people with good values than old people like that. Humin chuckled. Lu Yan looked back at Qin Chu and greeted him with a smile. Hello, President Qin. Hello, second miss. Qin Chu began to tease her. Ahem. Don't just call me Yen, Lu Yan said modestly. Second miss was an honorific in the mercenary world, so Lu Yan wasn't used to using it in front of her family. Let's go and eat. It's ready, Qin Chu said. Yeah, I'm hungry. Let's go. Then Lu Yan led the twins into the restaurant. Annie, you're awesome. I admire you. Little Bean pulled Lu Yan's hand. Really? That's awesome. I'm just talking, I haven't done anything yet. I'm afraid that her old bones won't be able to take it. Lu Yan chuckled. Auntie, if the old lady really lay on the ground, would you really dare to hit her? Little Bean asked curiously. What do you think? Lu Yan rubbed her cheek against Little Bean's but didn't respond. Instead she walked in with a smile. Qin Chu had already ordered 3 bowls of beef ramen. He even asked the boss to make small bowls for the twins. Daddy, I think I don't need to eat small bowls anymore. I'm growing and I need nutrition, Little Bean said. Okay, then eat Daddy's big bowl. Qin Chu doted on his daughter, so he directly pushed his bowl of noodles to her. Forget it. I don't want your noodles. I just want the beef in your bowl. Little Bean smirked. Little Bean, your grandpa said you're too fat. You can't eat so much meat. Humin immediately looked at her. Mommy, Grandpa isn't here. Why are you so serious? Grandpa isn't here, but I still have to supervise you. This is for your health. Humin shook his head and didn't let Qin Chu give the beef to Little Bean. Mommy, haven't you heard of the saying on the internet? What? Humin tilted his head and looked at Little Bean. Don't worry too much. Eat whatever you want. In the future, once the doctor tells you what to eat, you'll be done for. Humin, haha. Where did you hear that? Lu Yan laughed hysterically. Also, Grandpa Mao smoked and drank, but he lived to the age of 80. Grandpa Deng also smoked and drank, but he lived to the age of 90. Mr. Zhang Xueliang smoked and drank and he had a mistress, but he lived to the age of 100. Uncle Lei didn't smoke or drink and he did a lot of good things, but he died at the age of 28. The others almost burst out laughing. You just said you wanted to eat meat. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Pudding glanced at her sister indifferently. That's weird. Look, those guys keep staring at us. Are they bad guys? Little Bean was about to refute her sister when she saw a few men eating carpets next door looking at them suspiciously. Chapter 33:14. Hearing Little Bean's words, Lu Yan coughed awkwardly and stood up. Ahem. You guys eat first. I'll go take a look. Qin Chu, on the other hand, was very calm. If it was really someone dangerous, his subordinates would know. Therefore, he knew that Lu Yan's men had been following her in secret. Daddy, are they Auntie's friends? Little Bean was curious. Yeah. They're so ugly. Qin Chu was speechless. Humin was speechless. Does the appearance of Auntie's friends have anything to do with you? Pudding looked at her sister. Of course. Auntie is such a beautiful and powerful woman. She shouldn't be friends with ugly people, Little Bean said happily. Forget it. Auntie isn't here. Don't flatter her. It'll be awkward, Pudding said nonchalantly. Little Bean twisted her body and didn't say more. Lu Yan strode over and glanced at her subordinates. Damn it. Didn't I tell you to go out and have fun with the money? Why are you following me? Lu Yan lowered her voice. Seeing their boss come over, the subordinates all stood up. Boss, we're not in the mood to have fun. We're worried about your safety. Damn it. Am I a pussy? Why are you worried about me? Even if there were a dozen of you, you wouldn't be a match for me. Lu Yan looked like she had nothing to live for. She could only blame them for being too loyal. She gave them money, but they didn't want to have fun and insisted on following her. We definitely can't defeat boss. But if someone wants to harm you, we won't let them go. Take that madam as an example. She treated you like that. One of the loyal subordinates said. Damn it. What did you do to that old lady? Hearing his words, Lu Yan broke out in cold sweat. Nothing much. On her way back, she sprinkled olive oil and threw a few pieces of watermelon rind. So? Lu Yan's eyes widened. She didn't want to change the structure of the city. She just wanted to stay in peace for a few days. So, even if the old lady crossed the line, Lu Yan didn't really want to do anything. However, her subordinates didn't know their boss's true intentions. If she really killed someone, Lu Yan would be calm, but if her sister knew, she would probably feel uncomfortable. After all, her sister was a doctor and her hands were used to save people. So the old lady sprained her ankle. She probably won't be able to get out of bed for at least 3 months. It's good for an old lady like her to go out less, the subordinate said seriously. Fuck. I'm impressed by you guys. How could you do something like this? Lu Yan poked her subordinate's forehead with her finger. The few of them were immediately frightened. Boss, if you want to blame someone, just scold me. It was my idea. It has nothing to do with them. The leader was a little scared. Forget it. You're smart enough not to kill her. As for spraining her ankle, you did a good job. Lu Yan smiled proudly. The subordinates looked at each other, thinking that their boss's mood had changed so quickly. I'm just having dinner with my sister and the others. Don't follow me, it's a bummer. Go where you need to go. Put on your watches. If I need you, I'll call for you. But Boss Ian's people seemed to be on the move. The leader frowned slightly, thinking that his boss was underestimating the enemy. Chapter 33:15. Ian, a loser. He's not worth mentioning. Listen to me and have fun. After a few days of vacation, we might have to face a big battle. Then Lu Yan smiled mysteriously and left. Hey, what do you guys think? Shouldn't she be sad after breaking up with her boyfriend? Why does she look so happy? Maybe it's because she saw Missy. You know how much Missy cares about her sister. Yeah, we'll never know what Missy is thinking. We'll do whatever she wants us to do. Okay, let's go. Missy always has bodyguards with her. She'll be fine. We're in China, not abroad. After being scolded by Lu Yan's subordinates left quietly. Lu Yan returned to her seat and sat down. And your friends left? Yeah, they left. Lu Yan smiled and didn't hide it. And where's your boyfriend? Little Bean suddenly asked. Who told you that? Lu Yan was a bit embarrassed. You all know. Daddy and Mommy have met him a few times. It's Uncle Qiao, the handsome one. Him? We broke up a long time ago, Lu Yan said calmly. Really? You broke up so soon? Soon? We've been together for a long time. It's enough. We're sick of each other just looking at each other. Hey. Auntie, you change boyfriends like you change clothes. Little Bean smiled. So, do you want to learn from Auntie? You can walk among thousands of flowers, but not a single leaf will stick to you. No. I want to be loyal because it's in our family. Grandpa is loyal, Grandma is loyal, Uncle is loyal, Mommy is loyal, Daddy is loyal, and my sister is even more loyal. So I have to be loyal too. Even if I don't want to be, I have to pretend to be. Otherwise, I'll be criticized for having bad morals. Little Bean said the last sentence in a low voice. But everyone heard it. Little Bean, eat your noodles. Don't brag in front of Auntie. Huimin didn't know what to do with his little daughter. Oh, Mommy, I'll eat. Little Bean immediately lowered her head and ate her noodles. How does it taste? Huimin glanced at Lu Yan and asked. Do you want to tell the truth? Of course. Actually, the taste is average. This kind of noodles can be found anywhere. You guys like to come here because of the nostalgia, Lu Yan said honestly. No. They're here because it's cheaper, Little Bean interrupted again. I don't think so. Your daddy and mommy are rich people in this city. There's no need to be so stingy. Lu Yan laughed. Little Bean, you're bad-mouthing mommy and daddy again. You only know how to suck up to Auntie. What will you do when Auntie leaves in a few days? Then I'll go with Auntie. I can go see Grandpa too, Little Bean said nonchalantly. Oh, you betrayed me so soon. Okay, if that's the case, I'll transfer your nationality tomorrow, Chin Chu said with a straight face. Comrade Old Chin, I'm just joking. It's not a big deal. Don't take it too seriously, okay? Comrade Chin, I'm just joking with you. You're too nervous. Chin Chu laughed. Ha. The older the wiser. I can't outtalk you. You're the best, President Chin. Little Bean admitted defeat. The few of them were eating ramen happily. In the distant city of Moscow, Qiao Fei's return was like a sudden clap of thunder to the originally dull Qiao family. Young Master Qiao is back. I heard he brought a woman with him, but it's not Lu Yen. The Qiao family's subordinates began to spread the news. Qiao Fei walked toward the family's main hall with Amy, receiving strange looks from the people around him. Qiao Fei turned and went into the inner hall to rest. Holding a bottle of water, Amy was just about to go in and take a look. However, Qiao Fei slammed the door shut and blocked her outside the door. She suddenly felt awkward. She knew young Master Qiao was still wary of her. After all, he couldn't accept her so quickly. After entering the inner hall, Qiao Fei lay down on the big, soft bed and felt depressed. He missed Lu Yen so much. Yes, they had only been apart for less than 48 hours. But he missed her so much, so much. In another palace, Master, the third young master is back. What should we do? Qiao Nan's subordinates seemed to be on high alert. Chapter 33:17. No. It's good news for me that he's back. Qiao Nan smiled. I don't understand. Please enlighten me, Master. You don't need to understand. Besides, now that I have a new partner, I don't need him anymore. He'll die sooner or later. Late at night in Moscow, Qiao Fei went to bed early and didn't go out. After attending his father's welcome dinner, he went into the inner palace and locked the door. Amy slept in the guest room. At midnight, she got up quietly. Then she slipped out of the back door of Qiao Fei's palace where someone was waiting for her. The director sent me to pick you up. The man spoke in English, afraid that Amy couldn't understand Russian. Amy nodded and didn't say anything. She followed the man as he walked. After a series of turns, they arrived at a desolate old factory. Seeing him, Amy nodded respectfully. Mr. Qiao. Good. You completed the task I gave you. Leaning against a pillar, Qiao Nan smoked a cigar and seemed to be in a good mood. I didn't expect it to go so smoothly, Amy said. So, I want to ask, did Lu Yen really believe it? Is there a trap? Qiao Nan asked cautiously. I don't think so. I've been with her for years and I can tell if she's lying or not. Lu Yen is very jealous. When she saw me being intimate with young Master Qiao, she exploded and said a lot of hurtful words. Mr. Qiao told me that young Master Qiao is a man of few words and doesn't like to explain himself, so it triggered a bigger conflict between us and led to this situation. When you left, Lu Yen didn't say anything. She told third young master not to go back, Amy answered. Is Lu Yen still in Brazil? I'm not sure. When we left, she was still there. Did Lu Yen go to Brazil just to catch the traitor? I think so. Have you been in contact with other gangs or gangs? No. Good. Without Lu Yen, Qiao Fei is a piece of trash. Qiao Nan smiled wickedly. Mr. Qiao promised not to hurt third young master. Amy was nervous. Although she had been bought over by Qiao Nan, her feelings for Qiao Fei were real. Don't worry. No matter what, he's still my younger brother. As long as he doesn't threaten my authority, nothing will happen to him. Do you have any plans after this? Amy asked. Yes, my partner wants to join me, to start fishing big fish. Qiao Nan smiled. It won't be easy for you to catch Lu Yen. She's very smart, Amy added. It doesn't matter. We have our ways. If Qiao Fei wasn't by her side, she would have been like a turtle in a jar. Now that she's chased Qiao Fei away, let's see who's going to give her advice. Are you going to kill Lu Yen? Amy was a bit hesitant, even though she knew Lu Yen wouldn't be a threat to her if she died. But after all, she was his lord. If she really died, he might feel a little sad. Kill? Of course not. Lu Yen is very, very valuable. My business partner said she's very useful. Mr. Qiao, are you talking about Ian? Amy guessed. Hee. That guy is all about sucking blood. I really don't like crazy vampires. I can tell he won't be able to do anything big. Amy was surprised because from Qiao Nan's words, it seemed there was someone more important who wanted to catch Lu Yen. Take this and put it in Qiao Fei's breakfast coffee every day. Qiao Nan suddenly took out a small porcelain bottle and handed it to Amy. Chapter 33:18. What's this? Amy was worried. It's a neurological drug. Why do you want to give it to young master? Amy was nervous. Don't be nervous. Woman, he won't have any side effects. He'll just feel drowsy. In this way he can spend time with you and won't have extra energy to meddle in Lu Yan's affairs. You don't want him to get back with Lu Yan, right? You don't believe me? Xiao Nan raised his eyebrows. I just don't want to do anything to hurt young master. Amy held the porcelain bottle in her hand, feeling conflicted. I told you it's not a lethal drug. I can kill Qiao Fei at any time. After all, this is my territory. Hearing Xiao Nan's words, Amy put away the small porcelain bottle. After Amy left, one of Xiao Nan's subordinates asked, Master, will she believe you? Think so. After all, she's worried that Lu Yan will come back and take him away from her. Master, you're really smart. The drug's incubation period is 3 months. After 3 months, Qiao Fei's liver will start to rot. Then we'll be able to kill him effortlessly. We can even put the blame on that little bitch, Amy, in front of the old master. Hee. Sweat. Not only is Qiao Fei brainless, but the people around him are brainless as well. I wonder why that chick Lu Yan likes him. Qiao Nan felt smug. In the old castle, the next morning when Qiao Fei got up, Amy had prepared breakfast. She had made many of Qiao Fei's favorite Chinese dishes and seemed to have put a lot of effort into it. Young Master Qiao, it's time to eat. Okay. Qiao Fei sat at the table quietly. Amy walked over with a cup of hot coffee, her hands shaking slightly. Young Master Qiao, here's your coffee. Put it here. Qiao Fei didn't take it. You must drink it while it's hot. It won't taste good when it's cold, Amy urged. Xiao Nan was right. Amy was worried that the powder would harm Qiao Fei, but she was more worried that if Lu Yan was in danger, Qiao Fei wouldn't be able to control himself and go to Lu Yan. So she put the unknown powder in Qiao Fei's coffee. Qiao Fei looked down at the coffee but didn't drink it. Go get me some candy. Didn't you used to dislike sugar? Amy was slightly startled. I used to like Lu Yan. I have to change my old habits, Qiao Fei said casually. Amy didn't dare to say more. She turned and walked to the kitchen. The moment Amy entered the kitchen, Qiao Fei quickly switched his coffee with Amy's. The exact same color, the exact same cup, there was no flaw at all. When Amy came back, she handed the candy to Qiao Fei. Under her gaze, Qiao Fei put in his coffee and stirred it slowly. Amy looked at this scene in shock and was very nervous. Young Master Qiao was so smart. If he saw through it, she would be finished, right? Qiao Fei did not raise his head to look at Amy, but under her silent gaze he slowly finished his coffee. Seeing that Qiao Fei didn't notice, Amy was relieved. Then she took the time to send a message to Xiao Nan. He already drank it. From the beginning to the end, she might have been too nervous and did not notice the cold smile on Qiao Fei's face. After finishing his coffee, Qiao Fei looked up and said gently, sit down and eat. Drink the coffee while it's hot. Amy was flattered. She sat down across from Qiao Fei and sipped her coffee. Drink more if you like it. Qiao Fei continued to smile. Chapter 33:19. Amy felt extremely happy. She didn't expect young Master Qiao to be so nice to her so soon. It seemed like he would fall in love with her very soon. At South Hill Manor, Lu Yan's arrival made the house even livelier. Huamin didn't say much about Lu Yan. He only told his in-laws that she was his cousin. Qin Chu's parents didn't ask more questions. They just welcomed Lu Yan warmly. Midnight, sis, I want to sleep in the same room as you. Lu Yan hugged Huamin coquettishly. Ahem. Qin Chu coughed lightly to remind her. President Qin, don't be so stingy. You hug your wife every day. Just lend her to me for a few nights. After all, I'm your sister-in-law. Lu Yan played the emotional card. A few nights? Are you kidding me? 1 night at most. Qin Chu didn't want to let Lu Yan borrow his wife for a few nights. 1 night isn't enough. No, you have to sleep with me while I'm here. Otherwise, I'll go out and stay in a hotel. Hey. I'll book a presidential suite for you, Qin Chu immediately replied enthusiastically. But sis, I'm a girl. It's not safe for me to go out and stay in a hotel at night. Will I be in danger? Lu Yan began to act. Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning? Miss Lu Yan, those people are the most dangerous when you're staying in the hotel. They're always worried about being blown up by a bomb genius, Qin Chu added. I'm such a gentle person. How could I do that? Lu Yan bit her lip and smiled. So, whose masterpiece is ghost number 1? Qin Chu asked directly. Brother-in-law, can you not be like this? I'm with an ordinary person right now. I don't plan to cheat. So, you have to be careful that I'm a beautiful and weak girl in my early 20s, okay? Unable to even truss up a chicken? I don't see it. I think you can defeat 10 people in 1 minute. Hey sis, look, your husband is bullying me. In the end, Lu Yan couldn't argue with Qin Chu and turned to Huamin for help. Honey, let Yan live with me. Huamin began to coax her husband. Then am I going to be alone? Honey, you're so cruel. Huamian and Lu Yan were shocked by Mr. Qin's rare behavior. President Qin, I'm going to record it and post it on the big screen in GK's lobby tomorrow. Lu Yan laughed. So, you want me to kick you out of Sea City immediately? No. I'm just bragging. I won't do that. Okay, I won't play with you guys anymore. I'm going to the study to deal with some documents. You two can sleep in the master bedroom. Qin Chu patted Huamin's shoulder affectionately. Then he walked towards the study. Your husband is so cool. He's good at everything, he's good at the kitchen, he's good at protecting his wife and children, and he can even beat a pervert. He's an all-rounder husband. Xiao Fei isn't bad either. Forget it. Don't mention him to me now. What's wrong? Did you guys really have a fight? Huamin asked. It's not that simple. Anyway, it's okay. Sis, I can sleep in your big bed now. I'm so happy. Lu Yan put her arms around Huamin's neck from behind like a little sister acting coquettishly with her elder sister. Huamin felt warm and happy just by looking at her. Auntie, you're so lucky to be able to sleep with Mommy. We usually want to sleep with Mommy, but Daddy won't let us. He even said that we should be independent. Who would believe that? Daddy's a stingy guy who won't lend Mommy to us. You're the one who's more important. Hearing that her auntie could sleep with Mommy, Little Bean's eyes were filled with jealousy. Pa, so, are you jealous now? Lu Yan teased Little Bean. Chapter 33:20. Yes, I'm jealous and jealous, Little Bean said frankly. Good girl. Go back to your room and be jealous. I'm going to sleep with my sister. Auntie, can't you take me with you? Of course not. This is just the two of us and no one can interfere. Good night. Lu Yan was so pleased with herself that she didn't even include her niece. Auntie, if you say this, I won't love you anymore, Little Bean said coquettishly. If you don't love me, fine. Where's the $20,000 I just gave you? Give it back. Lu Yan reached out her hand. Don't joke around. I'm just kidding. My love for you is like a surging river. So, you're going to say that you'll live in our hearts forever, right? Lu Yan chuckled. I didn't say that. You said it yourself. I won't take the blame. Go back to your sister. We'll go our separate ways. Finally, Little Bean followed, putting back to their room to sleep. Lu Yan hugged her sister happily and took over the master bedroom. Qin Chu took his laptop to the study to continue working. Lu Yan was wearing Huamin's cotton nightgown. Obviously she looked better in it than Huamin. After all, Lu Yan was very pretty. Yan, we're biological sisters, but why are you so much prettier than me? Huamin exclaimed. That's because you look like our dad and I look like our mom, Lu Yan said proudly. Our mom's pretty, right? While Huamin lamented that genes treated him unfairly, he suddenly remembered that he had never seen his mom's photo and didn't know what she looked like. He only knew that her name was Linya. As for the rest, Lu Yan didn't want to talk about it, and neither did their father. Yeah. Our mom's prettier than the gods. Even I'm not 1/10 as pretty as our mom. Is she a peerless beauty like Audrey Hepburn? Huamin imagined. I think she's prettier than Hepburn. Really, I'm not exaggerating. Do you have photos? Let me see. Huamin thought that Xiaoyan might have photos on her phone. Yes, but Dad told me not to tell you too much about our mother. Why? Huamin was a little surprised. That's right. How should I put it? A lot of things have happened about our mother and there's a lot of information about her. Moreover, her identity has now been listed in the red alert. There's no information about her in any country or database in the world. Let me put it this way, there's no information about Ms. Lin Yo on Earth now. Could it be that our mother is an alien? Huamin was even more surprised. Ah, sis, are you dumb? Aliens? You've watched too much Star Wars. Lu Yan laughed. She clutched her stomach and laughed at her adorable sister. You made it sound so mysterious, so my imagination ran wild. Huh, that's too wild. Anyway, don't think too much about it. I'll tell you when I need to. Can I see the photos? Huamin had only one small request. Actually, all of her photos have been destroyed. The only one I have left is this. Then Lu Yan turned on the system on her watch and began to decrypt the code. Huamian was dazzled by the number of codes. Finally, an illusory image appeared in the air. It was a sketch. You drew it? Huamin asked. Yeah. Dad destroyed all the photos of our mother. I couldn't bear it and kept this sketch. She is really beautiful, Huamin murmured as he looked at the sketch. Chapter 33:21. Of course. She's one of the most beautiful women in the world. In fact, you're also very beautiful, my Yan. Huamin reached out his hands and pinched Lu Yan's little cheeks lovingly. It was the first time in her life that someone had done this to her. If it were someone else, their hands would have been dislocated before they could even see her face. Lu Yan was very alert and would never fall into a deep sleep. Even if an embroidery needle fell to the ground, it could be heard clearly. To stop it. Let's go to sleep. I'm so sleepy. Didn't you sleep on the plane? Yeah. But I'm jet-lagged. Okay, the two sisters chatted casually. Lu Yan liked this kind of peaceful feeling the most. She finally felt like an ordinary person. She was a younger sister and the aunt of her children. She wasn't a female demon on the battlefield or the king of a mercenary group. She wasn't the most wanted criminal or a woman with a special identity who was constantly being hunted. Seeing Lu Yan fall asleep, Huamin got up quietly. She had been worried about Qin Chu's sleep problem. Sure enough, when Huamin went to the study, it was already midnight. Qin Chu was still working. Honey. Why aren't you asleep yet? Qin Chu looked at his wife tenderly. Yan is asleep. I was bored so I came to see you. Go to sleep. Honey, I made the bed for you in the guest room. I know. Then go to sleep now. I still have some work to do. I'll go in a bit. Don't worry. No. I want you to put down your work and go to sleep. Qin Chu, seeing his wife's determined attitude, Qin Chu had no choice but to compromise. He turned off the computer and walked over. First, he hugged Huamin intimately and kissed her forehead. Then the couple went into the guest room on the second floor. Are you going back on your word and going to sleep with me while Lu Yan is asleep? Qin Chu teased her. Tisk, am I such a disloyal person? I promised Yan, so I can't do that. It's not right. I'm just worried about you. I'm not a child. What's there to worry about? When Qin Chu entered the guest room, he realized that Huamin had carefully decorated the room. The lights were dimmed and there was lavender incense on the table. The Bluetooth speaker at the head of the bed was still playing soft music. Honey. Qin Chu seemed to understand his wife's intentions. Isn't it romantic? Huamin smiled and acted coquettishly in Qin Chu's arms. Yeah, if you weren't pregnant, I think we would be doing something right now. Mr. Qin's blunt words made Huamin blush slightly. Even though she was already a married woman and a mother of two, she had always maintained a shy and girlish attitude when it came to matters between men and women. It wasn't pretentious. Perhaps it was just a personality problem. She was shy and couldn't let go. Don't talk nonsense. Your son will hear you. Huamin pointed at her belly. What are you thinking? I mean, at this moment the two of us should dance a waltz and drink some red wine or something. Ha, you're playing with me. Huamin realized that she had been tricked by Mr. Qin again. Be a good girl and go to sleep. You're pregnant and can't stay up late. Qin Chu coaxed his wife. Honey, I'm going to work tomorrow. Yan might feel bored. You can ask Yang to take her around. Are you kidding? You want Yang to accompany Lu Yan? Qin Chu thought that with Yang's personality, Lu Yan would beat him until his bones were broken in less than a day. What should we do? We can't let her wander around by herself, right? I think Su Yu is a good choice, Qin Chu said. Chapter 33:22. Su Yu. Huamin froze, not daring to think of him. But Yan has Qiao Fei and Su Yu has Zeng Ro. Is it a good idea for you to set them up? Huamin thought Qin Chu was trying to set Lu Yan and Su Yu up. Oh, you misunderstood me. I mean, with Lu Yan's personality, ordinary people can't be her partner, not even Yang. Among us, only Su Yu, who's not afraid of anything, can compete with Lu Yan. Won't they fight? Huamin asked. Can Su Yu defeat her? Mr. Qin asked. Good. Maybe they'll be good friends. I'll call Su Yu now. Don't. It's midnight. Are you sure Su Yu won't scold you if you call him? Qin Chu chuckled. Right. I forgot. I'll tell him about it tomorrow morning and ask him to show Yan around so she won't be bored. I think you worry too much, honey. With Lu Yan's personality, she won't be bored even if you send her to space. You're mocking me again. Huamin raised her fist and pounded on her husband's chest. Honey, now that you have a sister, you don't want your husband anymore? Don't talk nonsense. Go to sleep, Huamin said. Yes, madam. With a smile, Huamin walked out of the room and saw Qin Chu had changed into pajamas. The smell of lavender was good for sleep, but it didn't seem to have much effect on Qin Chu's stubborn insomnia. So Huamin secretly added some Chinese medicine he made into the lavender incense. However, because the medicinal smell was relatively light, it was covered by the smell of lavender, so Qin Chu didn't notice it. Although it wasn't a good idea to use Qin Chu as a guinea pig, Huamin had no other choice. Her heart ached for the man she loved to the bone. If a person didn't sleep night after night, that kind of torture would be worse than death. Huamin didn't want her husband to suffer like this. Therefore, after returning to Southside, she read a lot of information every day and kept doing experiments. Chinese medicine had the least side effects and was non-toxic. Although she didn't know how effective it would be, she was willing to give it a try, even if it was risky. After Qin Chu laid down, he couldn't fall asleep, just like every other day. He held his phone and flipped through some financial news. Half an hour later, perhaps due to the effects of the drug, he actually felt slightly sleepy. Then she fell asleep in a daze. Although it was a very light sleep, he did fall asleep, which made Qin Chu ecstatic. An hour later, it was 1:00 in the morning. Huamin quietly came out of the room again and secretly opened the door. When she found that Qin Chu wasn't sitting by the bed smoking, but lying motionless on the bed, she felt relieved. Although she didn't know if the effects would last, at least it was better than before. At 3:00 in the morning, Qin Chu woke up abruptly and then, his head was covered in cold sweat. He had a strange dream. In the dream, a woman told him that she had come to get something from him. The woman was wearing a black veil, but he recognized the tattoo on her arm. It was a blood skull. The person who gave him the lighter had the same tattoo on his arm. Qin Chu was no longer sleepy and he lit a cigarette. Today was a little better than before. At least he could sleep lightly. He sat on the sofa by the window, smoking and fiddled with a strange-looking lighter in his hand. He remembered that back then he used this little thing to scare away that big pervert Ian. Then, about this lighter and those people with special identities. Were they still in contact? Qin Chu suddenly felt very uneasy. Chapter 33-23. The next morning, Huamin sent a WeChat message to Su Yu. Lord Su, my sister is back from abroad. I have to go to work tomorrow. If you have time, you can show her around. You two can eat and have fun. I'll pay for all the expenses. Dr. Hua, do you want me to be your tour guide? Su Yu joked. Director Su, can I? Yes. Since you asked, of course I can. But why don't you ask your husband to accompany her? Isn't he free? How many brothers-in-law have you seen with their sisters-in-law? Huamin asked. I get it. Don't arouse suspicion. Isn't your sister pretty? Don't fall in love with me. After all, I'm so handsome. Su Yu turned on his narcissistic mode. Don't worry. She's taken. Even if she's taken, she can still fall in love with me. Even if she's married, she'll still be attracted by my radiance. Lord Su, are you awake? Is it fun to talk in your sleep? Huamin teased. Humph. You're not humorous. You leave it to me. I'll make sure it's done properly, Su Yu promised. Thank you. After Su Yu agreed, Huamin was happy. Qin Chu was right. Su Yu didn't have to go to the company every day to keep an eye on things, so he had time to hang out with Lu Yan. Qin Chu went to work early and left after breakfast. After breakfast, Huamin held Lu Yan's hand. Yan, I was afraid you'd be bored at home today, so I found a friend to accompany you. I don't think so. Lu Yan looked disgusted. Why not? You're not familiar with this place. I have GPS. I can even locate the toilet accurately. But that's not fun. Didn't you say you wanted to be an ordinary person? Hey. So which friend of yours did you find me? Jixin? Gao Ran? Wei Liao? Tang Chuan? And Ai Yong? Lu Yan rattled off a list of names. Not bad, you even know my friend's name. Sis, this is too easy for me. Not to mention your friends, I even know the names of your colleagues at Southside. Hey. Queen Lu Yan, you're the best. Huamin patted her head. So, who is accompanying me today? Su Yu. Holy fuck, what? Not satisfied. Why is it that dumbass? Lu Yan looked displeased. Please, Lord Su is the one and only, okay? Don't tease me, okay? I know everything about him, including his grades in kindergarten. Lin Yiqian's eyes widened. Lu Yan's database was like an encyclopedia. So you don't like Su Yu? Huamin asked. It's not that I don't like him, I just think he's a weirdo. You're a weirdo too. Maybe you two can play together. Sis, you're slandering me. Ha, go and have fun. Su Yu is your niece's favorite Prince Charming. They'll be happy if they know. Do I have any other choice? Lu Yan asked, unwilling to give up. Yes, he has a bodyguard named In. You can choose between them, Huamin said. Forget it, pretend I didn't say anything. Lu Yan rolled her eyes. She knew her sister was being nice and didn't want her to be bored, but she had planned to go out and have fun. Was it really okay to have Su Yu with her? As soon as she finished speaking and appeared at the door. Dr. Hua, I'm here to pick up your sister, and said. Come on Yan, get in the car. Have fun. Huamin took Lu Yan's hand and dragged her out. Lu Yan looked like she wanted to cry. Chapter 33-24. Sis, I won't cause you trouble, right? Lu Yan was afraid that she wouldn't be able to control herself. If she got into a fight with Su Yu, wouldn't her sister be in a difficult position? However, she would definitely try her best to control herself and not hit Su Yu. Of course, this was just a simple thought. She didn't know the specifics. No, Su Yu is a good person. He's a good friend. Huamin believed that his husband was right. A person like Lu Yan shouldn't be with a soft persimmon. It was better to suppress her with a bad temper like Lord Su. Perhaps the effect would be unexpected. Besides, even if Lu Yan was bad-tempered and immature, Huamin still trusted Su Yu. After all, Su Yu knew that she was his sister and wouldn't neglect her. Lu Yan licked her lips and got into the Audi A8L driven by, and Lu Yan sat in the back without a word. She closed her eyes and planned to take a nap. Shaowen was a very clever person, so he naturally wouldn't say too much. Su Yu had asked In to take Lu Yan to the headquarters of Imperial Star and take her out for a morning meeting. However, just as the car was about to arrive at the headquarters of the company, and received a call from Su Yu. President Su, what? Alright then, I understand. After hanging up the phone, and swallowed his saliva uneasily. Then he turned around and glanced at Lu Yan, who was still resting with her eyes closed. Miss Hua. My surname isn't Hua, Lu Yan said. Aren't you Dr. Hua's sister? I'm his sister, but my surname isn't Hua. And felt a little awkward. What's the matter? Just tell me. I just received a call from President Su. President Su has something urgent to deal with. There's an emergency at the film and television complex. President Su went there first, so he asked me to show you around the headquarters of the company in Sichuan. President Su also said, and glanced at Lu Yan and continued, every day many artists come here to sign in for makeup and take photos. If you like any of them, I can take you there to take photos with them. Shaowen felt that there was nothing wrong with his boss's arrangement. Didn't young girls nowadays like to chase after celebrities? Imperial Star had the most artists in the country, and many popular dramas were produced by them. She was overjoyed to hear about this arrangement. After all, she had heard that Dr. Hua's sister was only a little girl in her early 20s. What? Lu Yan instantly widened her eyes. Are you happy? It seems President Su made the right decision. Seeing Lu Yan's reaction, and thought he had made the right decision. What the hell? Would I take a photo with them? I don't even care about those in Hollywood. Why would I care about an actor with no acting skills? People like Lu Yan weren't interested in the acting industry. She had been through many life and death situations and was on the verge of death every day. It was a real gun and not a performance, so they never came into contact with this group of people. Once, a famous Hollywood actor asked Lu Yen to have dinner with him through all kinds of connections. However, Lu Yen still didn't give him any face. The male star even offered $10 million for a meal. But he still didn't get to see Lu Yen in person. It was rumored that Lu Yan's team didn't accept small orders of less than $1 billion. Yes, these actors and stars were like ants to her and didn't need to be mentioned. $1 billion might be a drop in the ocean for the top tycoons, but for stars, even Hollywood stars, it was a lifetime income. No one would pay all their money to see a woman. So none of them had ever seen Lu Yen. To them, the second miss was just a legend. Hearing Lu Yan's words and felt extremely awkward and flustered. Since she didn't want to go, how could he entertain her? Chapter 33:25. I'll call President Su and ask for his opinion, and was about to pick up his phone. But Lu Yen stopped him. Wait, you just said that Su Yu has something to do and can't come, right? Yeah. Good. You can get off work now. I'll go out on my own. Lu Yen opened the door and got out of the car. She didn't want to hang out with Su Yu. If it weren't for her sister, she would have run away long ago. But President Su promised Dr. Hua. I'll explain to my sister, Lu Yen said. That won't do. Are you stubborn? Lu Yen looked at the stubborn and exasperated. You're Dr. Hua's younger sister, and Dr. Hua is President Su's very, very important friend, so I have to make sure you're safe. It's quite chaotic here and there are local gangs here. I'm worried that you'll be targeted and you'll be in trouble. After all, you're very pretty, and said in embarrassment. Lu Yan's beauty was indeed breathtaking. Even En, who didn't care much about beauty, found Lu Yan's beauty pleasing to the eye. Therefore, he was worried that this young lady would be in danger if she were to be teased or targeted by others when she was outside alone. His analysis was right. Besides, he didn't know Lu Yan's background, so it wasn't his fault. Do you mean someone dares to attack me? Lu Yan didn't care about her fairy-like appearance and cursed. Yes, I'm not lying to you. This place is indeed not very safe. In addition to the underworld's henchmen, there will also be some local nouveau riche sons who will go overboard. It's hard to guarantee that they will find trouble with you. So, girl, even if you want to go out and play by yourself, it's safer to take me with you. Shaoan felt that if his boss was not at home, he could not do anything that would embarrass him. He had told her that Su Yu would take care of her. If the girl went out on her own, it wouldn't look good. What if Dr. Hua had a bad impression of his boss? So, unlocked the car door and didn't let Lu Yen get out of the car while he tried to reason with her. If it were the old Lu Yen, she would have taken out her gun and shot the door open when she saw it was locked. Then she would have gotten out of the car. But it was different now. She was reserved and guns were not legal in this place. If someone opened fire, it would probably be troublesome. At that time, he wouldn't be able to stay in peace. After weighing the pros and cons, Lu Yen smiled and then sighed. Brat, you're as stubborn as a donkey. But that's fine. Since you have good intentions, you can follow me. But, from now on, you're not allowed to plan the route for me. You'll go wherever I want you to go. All right. Seeing that the lady had compromised, Shaoan hurriedly nodded. Let's go to the arcade first. Shaoan didn't react immediately. I said find a video arcade. Do you understand Mandarin? Lu Yen repeated. All right. Shaoan didn't dare to ask any more questions. He stepped on the accelerator and continued forward. Then they went to the biggest arcade in the city center. Before Lu Yen could say anything, he rushed to buy 100 yuan worth of tokens. Su Yu had said that he would cover all of Hua Min's sister's expenses today. Before he left, Su Yu had transferred 100,000 yuan to Anne's WeChat account. Of course, and wouldn't let the girl spend her own money. There are many claw games over there. Do you want to play? Holding the tokens in his hand and asked Lu Yen with a serious expression. After all, he thought many girls liked claw games. The girl he had met through WeChat and was about to marry also liked claw games. But then, claw games? Lu Yan's expression was indescribable. Chapter 33:26. Yeah. Do you know how to do it? If you can't do it well, I can do it for you, and coaxed Lu Yen. In fact, he really treated her as a little girl. She was Dr. Hua's younger sister who had just returned from abroad, so he had to take good care of her. Lu Yen stared at him for 3 seconds and then said, Oh, you can do it yourself. I'll go play the slot machine. Then she took some tokens from Anne's hand and turned to leave, leaving Anne embarrassed. His goal was to win the girl's favor, so he didn't want to play the game. So Anne lowered his head and followed Lu Yen silently with a pile of tokens in his hands. This was the biggest arcade center in the city. It was big in scale and investment, and there were many people and waiters. There were dozens of slot machines, and many underage kids were playing them with infatuation in their eyes. Lu Yen glanced at the label on the slot machine and didn't see any bonus. So she called a waiter over. "Handsome, which slot machine has the highest bonus?" Lu Yen asked. "The one in the innermost corner has the highest bonus." The waiter pointed at the slot machine. "How much is the bonus?" The boss said the highest is 100,000 yuan. But this place has been open for more than 2 years and no one has ever won. The highest bonus is 30,000 yuan. 100,000 yuan? That's low, Lu Yen complained. But she didn't speak loudly, so the waiter didn't pay attention to her. "Do you need any help?" "So, thank you, handsome." Then Lu Yen walked toward the slot machine that was the furthest away from the other players. "Miss, wait a minute." Perhaps Lu Yen was too beautiful, the waiter called out to her again. "Yeah." Lu Yen looked back. "This machine has the highest bonus, but the chance of losing is also very high. Now, many slot machines on the market are controlled by humans and will give you a discount based on the amount of money you lose. In other words, you have to lose a lot to have a chance of winning. So people don't like to play it. If you want to play, I suggest you play the fruit machine over there. The bonus isn't high, but the chance of winning is high. Thank you for the reminder. I'm just playing for fun. I won't lose much." Lu Yen smiled and continued to sit down on the empty slot machine. Seeing that Lu Yen was going to play the slot machine, and felt the 1 million yuan he had just exchanged for wasn't enough to fill the gap between her teeth. Everyone knew that this kind of thing burned money. If one became addicted to it, they probably wouldn't be able to walk out of this house without spending at least 3,000 to 5,000 yuan. So Anne turned around and paid with WeChat, buying 3,000 yuan of game coins for Lu Yen. After all, President Su had asked him to take good care of her. "Sister, there's something wrong with this machine. Keeps swallowing coins and not giving them out. I suspect that the boss did something to it. Everyone who comes here knows about it." Chapter 33:27. Sure enough, Anne ran over and pushed through the crowd. Sure enough, he saw Lu Yan's machine. The slot machine was out of control and was spitting out coins crazily. It was exhilarating to watch. Even if it wasn't her, she felt good. Many people came over to watch, envious and jealous. "Wow, this sister is so good. Yeah, isn't this machine dumb? It's been in business for more than 2 years. Has it ever won such a big prize? This is 100,000 yuan, right? I heard that someone won less than half of this last time. Is there something wrong with the machine? Will the boss deny it?" While everyone was talking, Lu Yen sat there calmly. But in her heart, she thought that if the boss dared to refuse to pay with the excuse that the machine was broken, it would be a disaster. "It's really you," and walked over dumbfounded. There were more than 3,000 game coins in the basket in his hand. "Who else do you think it is?" Lu Yen smiled. At this moment, the waiters all came over to clean up the scene. "Everyone make way. We're going to count the coins." Huamin looked at the male waiter who reminded her and said, "I'll give you 10,000 yuan. The male waiter was dumbfounded. Then Lu Yen glanced at the little boy who had reminded her. "I'll give you 10,000 yuan too." Hearing this, the little boy was dumbfounded and almost dropped the Coke bottle in his hand. "Give me the remaining 80,000 yuan in cash. I like the visual stimulation of cash." "Okay, Mississippi. Please wait over there for a moment. We'll exchange it for you immediately." Then Lu Yen and Anne stood up and went to the rest area to wait. "You're so lucky." And couldn't understand why the girl would give 20,000 yuan to a stranger for no reason. But he still sincerely admired her luck. In fact, those who knew Lu Yen knew that this girl did things based on happiness. As long as she was in a good mood, everything would be fine. If she was in a bad mood, then everyone would be in trouble. Lu Yan's subordinates absolutely understood the meaning of the saying, "Being in a king's company is like being in a tiger's company." Luck? Hee. I never believe in luck. It's all a lie. Lu Yen chuckled. "Didn't you win so much by luck today? Dr. Ho will definitely be happy. I'll send him a WeChat message later. said Xiao, and Lu Yan smiled but didn't say anything. She didn't want to talk too much with this stranger. Lu Yan had once won 40 million yuan in a casino in Las Vegas with a slot machine. At that time, many people were shocked, and the casino even suspected that she had cheated. They asked many authoritative people to check the machine and even to see if Lu Yan had anything on her. In the end, he found nothing. However, Lu Yan didn't rely on luck. The slot machines had different algorithms. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to learn it even if they studied for 10 years. But Lu Yan knew how to do it. She could solve a simple problem in China in a few seconds. Chapter 33:28. Woman, it's not against the law to brag, right? You don't want to kill people? You make it sound like you've killed people. One of the boys chuckled. Lu Yan, it seemed that these kids didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. How dare they talk to Lu Yan like this? Those who said that Lu Yan hadn't killed anyone should have asked Sister Yan which day she hadn't killed anyone. Since she was a little girl, she had been hunted down, counterattacked, and made bombs. Now she was in her early 20s. She couldn't even remember the number of people she had killed. You kids look so young. Don't you know that robbery is against the law? And lectured them righteously. Maybe it was because he was a special forces soldier like Suyu, so he was righteous when he was angry. We know. But we're not 18 yet. They won't do anything to us. Do you know a place called the Juvenile Detention Center? And continued to reason with them. Of course I know. The director of the Juvenile Detention Center is my third uncle. So, cut the crap. Hurry up and leave the prize money. The young man who was leading the group was getting impatient. It seems that this isn't the first time these kids have committed crimes. It's useless to lecture them. I think we should help their parents teach them a lesson, Lu Yan said. Take the money and hide in the corner. Leave this to me. Then and handed the bag of cash to Lu Yan and was ready to fight. Lu Yan wasn't in a hurry. She took the bag and stepped back as and said, "Don't let the girl run away. She has the money," the leading boy yelled. Instantly a group of people swarmed up. Xiaowen's eyes and hands were quick and he quickly started fighting. He grabbed one of them and punched him. Then he kicked and hit him. However, there were a lot of kids in this group, so it was inevitable that some of them would escape. One of the guys who had been kicked away by and got up and ran toward Lu Yan. This was because he felt that women were a vulnerable group. He would be able to get the money in one go. Run. Don't just stand there like an idiot, and yelled at Lu Yan anxiously. However, Lu Yan didn't run with the bag of cash in one hand. Instead, she walked toward the boy. The young man reached out to grab Lu Yan's purse. But before he could touch her, Lu Yan kicked his kneecap. Ah! The young man fell to the ground, his hands clutching his knees as he screamed in agony. Yes, Lu Yan had always been fast and ruthless. He never wasted time. He had already used 50% of his strength, and the kid's kneecap was instantly shattered. Of course, he was in so much pain that he wished he were dead. Seeing their comrade fall to the ground, the others were even more furious. They rushed forward with machetes and axes. Unfortunately, An was faster and took care of them before they could reach Lu Yan. Xiaowen pressed down on the head of the young man who was leading the group. Kid, you're so young yet you don't learn the right things. How did your parents teach you? My parents are officials and my family is the leader of the prison. You dare to offend this young master? You won't have a high fruit to eat. I will remember you. Not only did the young man not have any regret, he even said the words of revenge, which was really hateful. Oh, you don't know how to repent. How can you say such things? The atmosphere nowadays is really... Before An could finish, Lu Yan walked over before An could react. Before he could react, she grabbed the leading young man's hand and pulled it back, breaking it with a crack. Ah! The young man screamed again. He was in so much pain that tears came out of his eyes. You want to take revenge on us? Hey, oh. But before that, I have a gift for you. You have to accept it. Then she dragged the young man out of Anne's hand, grabbed his head and slammed him against the wall in front of everyone. With a thud, the foppish young man fell to the ground and fainted on the spot. Anne's expression changed slightly and everyone else was shocked. Chapter 33:29. Big Brother Ming. A few teenagers called out to the young man. It seemed that he was indeed a core member of the gang. From his words, it seemed that his family had some power. It had something to do with the prison. Otherwise they wouldn't have dared to rob the underground garage. They were too bold to do it in broad daylight. The other customers who came to pick up their cars didn't dare to walk in. Why are you still standing there? Let's go. Then Lu Yan walked to the car with the money bag on her back and hurried to follow her. The other teenagers didn't dare to follow them. They helped the unconscious leader up and took him to the hospital. Looking at the Audi license plate in the distance, the teenagers memorized it and planned to take revenge. But would they really take revenge? The answer was no. When the children sent the leader to the hospital, the doctor diagnosed that his right hand and right arm were broken. He was a first-degree disability and would never recover. Furthermore, he had a severe concussion. The child's parents wanted nothing more than to kill each other. But when the teenagers told them the license plate number and they checked it, they immediately calmed down. The license plate number of the Audi A8L was Su Yu's grandfather's car in the military. The old man had given it to Su Yu on his 25th birthday. The Su family was the pinnacle of power in this city, not to mention a small prison warden like them. Even the mayor of Sea City had to be careful of them. So that family could only admit that they were unlucky to rob the Su family. After getting into the car, An's expression didn't look good. Lu Yan's attack had irritated him greatly. He wasn't surprised by Lu Yan's skills. Instead, he felt that Lu Yan's attack was too vicious and fatal. The two attacks must have caused permanent damage to the kid. There was no doubt about it. After 5 minutes of silence in the car, An finally couldn't stand it anymore. I think they were wrong, but they didn't have to be so vicious, and said. Are you talking about me? Lu Yan looked up and asked him. Am I talking about myself? And was a bit displeased. Oh. Either you don't attack or you do it to the extreme. This has been my style for many years. I can't change it, Lu Yan said calmly. But he's still a child. Xiaoan had always been conflicted about the fact that the other party was underage. So it's not against the law for children to kill people, and children can do whatever they want? So much so that the fact that they were underage had become a golden ticket to avoid death? The laws in the country itself are biased. I didn't expect a man like you to have the heart of a saint. I'm not a saint. I just feel that you were too heavy-handed. If I hadn't hit him so hard, do you think he would have turned over a new leaf and stopped harming others? That's enough. Put away your tricks. I've gotten rid of a scourge for the people. This child is already 16 or 17 years old. He's already so old, yet his thoughts are so evil. If I let him out, he'll only harm others. I'm already very merciful for not killing him. Kill him? Isn't it illegal for you to kill people overseas? Xiaoan felt that this girl looked beautiful and gentle, but the words she spoke were filled with the smell of blood. What does that have to do with you? Did my sister and Su Yu send you here to investigate me? Lu Yan asked coldly. Chapter 33:30. No. That's not what I meant. That's the end of the topic. No matter what you say, what's done is done. Lu Yan's face was cold, and nodded helplessly and didn't dare to say more. Lu Yan understood An. He didn't know what she did for a living, so it was normal for him to feel pity for her. But Lu Yan didn't think she did anything wrong. The people she met today were underage and weren't 18 yet. So Lu Yan didn't kill them. She only broke their arms and gave them a concussion to teach them a lesson. If it was an adult who did this, Lu Yan would make sure that the person would disappear without leaving a trace. Instead, she didn't hit them too hard because he didn't know Lu Yan well. Or rather, he misunderstood Lu Yan because of his one-sided understanding of her. He thought Dr. Hua's sister, who came back from abroad, must be a beautiful, gentle, and kind young lady. But she wasn't. Among these qualities, Lu Yan only had beauty. As for the others, perhaps anyone would be shocked if they knew her identity. After they left the arcade, they went to a nearby shopping mall. Lu Yan found the big brands in the mall were all old models. Few of them were the latest models. It seemed the domestic goods circulation needed to be improved. She looked around and found nothing to buy. In the end, she only bought a designer bag for Huamin, which cost her more than 200,000 yuan. Then she bought the twins some diamond-studded trinkets and some dresses for girls. In less than 2 hours, she spent more than 300,000 yuan. Her speed of spending money was unparalleled. And was about to say that Su Yu had given him 100,000 yuan in the morning for Lu Yan's use. But when he heard the bag cost more than 200,000 yuan, he was too embarrassed to say it, and thought the girl might be from a super rich family. After all, she had a strong aura. But the strange thing was that Lu Yan never wore designer clothes. Her clothes didn't have any labels. At a glance, she was a very down-to-earth girl. But it also proved the saying that if you were good-looking, you would look good in anything. After paying the bill and tactfully helped Lu Yan carry the bags. When they were about to leave the mall, they passed by Armani. Lu Yan grabbed 2 belts and packed them. Then he handed it to An, one for you and one for Su Yu. No, I can't accept your gift. Shaoan waved his hand and refused. Take it. It's hard to play with me. Although Su Yu didn't come, it was still under his instructions, so don't refuse. No, I really can't. And had never seen anything like this before. If you don't like it, you can just throw it in the trash can. It's my business whether I buy it or not. It's your business whether you accept it or not. Yes, this was Lu Yan's domineering personality. She didn't care if he wanted her or not, but she, Lu Yan, would do it. Since they all knew that Su Yu was his sister's friend, some etiquette was still necessary. In the end, Shaoan could only accept it. How could he bear to throw it into the trash can? 1 belt, the latest model, was worth about 4,000 RMB. 2 belts were almost 10,000 RMB. After shopping, Lu Yan got into the car and leaned against the back seat. I'm a little hungry. Let's find a place to eat, she said. Hey, what do you want to eat? I'll arrange it. Anything. Was in a dilemma. If she said anything, it would be wrong of him to order anything. Can you tell me what you like to eat? And forced himself to ask. Chapter 33-31. I like spicy hot pot, crossbridge rice noodles and casserole noodles. You decide. And President Su asked me to take you to eat something good. He even transferred 100,000 yuan to me this morning. I can't treat you to a roadside stall. So what if it's a roadside stall? As long as it's delicious, I don't care if it's cheap or expensive. But, will President Su and Dr. Huo blame me? No. Their goal is for you to have fun with me. I'll be happy when I eat something I like. And felt more and more that Dr. Huo's sister was a weirdo. He also complained about President Su in his heart. Why didn't his boss come? An invisible person like him really didn't feel safe. Then I'll call President Su and ask for his opinion, okay? Why? It's not Su Yu who wants to eat. It's me. Lu Yan was surprised. Then I'd better call him. With that, and dialed Su Yu's number. Su Yu, speak. And, President Su, are you done? Su Yu, no. What's wrong? And, nothing. It's noon. I'm going to take Dr. Huo's sister to eat and then, Su Yu, not enough? Then I'll transfer 200,000 yuan to you now. No. It's enough. We haven't spent anything. Our VIP wants to eat spicy hot pot and rice noodles. Su Yu, then you can go eat. And didn't expect Su Yu to be so calm. He was about to break down. But, Su Yu, I'm not done here. You can go eat. That's all. Then Su Yu hung up the phone. He couldn't leave Su Yu's side, so he was relieved to leave it to An. Originally, Su Yu thought that he didn't have enough money. Once he heard that it wasn't about money, he immediately hung up the phone and continued to work. I told you not to, but you didn't listen. Lu Yan chuckled. Then do you really want to eat malatang? I feel that since you've come all the way back from abroad, I should bring you to eat something good. What's good? Seafood, abalone, lobster, king crab? Lu Yan asked. Yeah, Dr. Huo loves seafood. Do you want some? No. Absolutely not. Lu Yan waved her hand. She was sick of seafood and wanted to throw up. If that's the case, I'll take you to eat clay pot noodles. In the end, Shaoan decided to cater to his taste. They lead the way. Lu Yan leaned against the back seat and closed her eyes to rest. The car made several turns and arrived at a small alley. The shop was not big and was called Auntie Wang's Casserole Lotus Leaf Noodles. However, there were many people waiting in line. As soon as they got out of the car, they saw at least 30 people waiting in line. So many people. How long do we have to wait? Lu Yan was dumbfounded. I'll cut the line. Shaoan was about to walk up. However, Shaoan pulled him back. Don't. It's not good to cut the line. Lu Yan smiled. Then, and was still wondering if there was a better way. At this moment, Lu Yen took out 10,000 yuan from the 80,000 yuan she had won in the lottery. She opened the white note tied to the cash and shouted, "Free money." Chapter 33:33. Then it's the Shungsher pearl. Is it the biggest one? Lu Yen didn't know much about the local market, so she had to ask. Yeah. This nightclub opened last month and is packed with people. Girls don't have to pay a ticket. Guys have to pay at least 10,000 yuan per person. Really? Lu Yen was surprised. Isn't that so? That's why I said that the owner of this shop is obviously up to no good. Isn't this clearly letting the rich second generation play with the little girl? Miss, listen to me, you can't go. You're so pretty, you'll definitely get into trouble if you go. The uncle tried to persuade her. Uncle, I'll tell you the truth. I'm going there to flirt with rich kids. The middle-aged man. Fine. Pretend I didn't say anything. I hope you get what you want. The middle-aged man seemed angry, thinking Lu Yen was a materialistic girl. However, the middle-aged man still nagged. I'm not being nosy. Look at you. You're so pretty and don't wear heavy makeup or revealing clothes. Why don't you go to a nightclub like that? Isn't it good to find a boyfriend? You don't have to be rich to be happy. You know, if a man has bad character and doesn't know how to appreciate love, he'll be the richest man in the world. The middle-aged man spoke from the bottom of his heart. Oh, you're right. Huh. Lu Yen was in a good mood. It wasn't easy to get rid of him, so she had to go out and have fun. Of course, she also wanted to take revenge on Psycho Chow. He was far away in Russia with that little bitch Amy. Just thinking about it made her feel bad. So, even though the middle-aged man in the taxi tried to persuade her, Lu Yen still wanted to go to this newly opened nightclub for rich people. Finally, the middle-aged man had no choice but to park the car in front of the Shungsher Pearl. It was a 15-story building and the decoration was indeed very grand. It wasn't the usual luxurious decorations. Instead, it used many elements. The owner had good taste. When Lu Yen entered, the security guard didn't stop her because the entrance was free for girls. Miss, are you here to have fun or to look for someone? I'm here to have fun, Lu Yen said. Are you alone? Yeah. Lu Yen nodded. If you're alone, I don't recommend a private room. Why don't you sit in the small square? It's crowded there. All right. Lu Yen followed the waiter all the way to the small square. Although it was only 3 p.m., it was already bustling with feasting and revelry. Many people were drinking and dancing inside. There were both men and women. Maybe it was because Lu Yen didn't wear branded clothes and didn't have much spending power. Therefore, the waiter brought her to a secluded corner. Then he threw the wine menu away and the waiter went to work. Lu Yen flipped through the wine list slowly. Not far away, a sharp-eyed member of the group pointed in their direction. I found a prey. Young Master Long. The man called Young Master Long followed her gaze. Although he couldn't see her entire face, her side profile was very beautiful. Lu Yen was definitely a breath of fresh air in this place. Her long hair flowed in the wind and she was dressed like a pretty girl from a humble family. She wore a simple white short-sleeved shirt, jeans and white sneakers. With a female university student, this suited the tastes of the rich second-generation heirs. Go ask her to come over and have a drink with me, the man called Young Master Long said. The lackey immediately ran over to Lu Yen. Beauty, Young Master Long invites you to have a drink with him. Chapter 33-34. Young Master Long? Lu Yen frowned slightly since she had never heard of this person. You're lucky that our Young Master Long likes you. He's always generous to the girls he likes. He thought the girls who came to the nightclub were all materialistic girls who came for money. Oh. Then, what do I get for drinking with him? Lu Yen asked seriously. A lot. As long as you make our Young Master Long happy, you can have anything you want. Yeah. Then I want a 747 radio. Haha. Beauty, you're funny. I'm serious. Ask your Young Master Long if he can afford it. It's very expensive for me to drink with him. Lu Yen smiled mysteriously. At this moment, the customers at other tables asked the waiters to bring drinks to Lu Yen. Although the lights were dim, they could still see clearly. With Lu Yan's looks, she was definitely the most beautiful woman in the world. Many men were like flies that couldn't wait to stare at her. In fact, Lu Yan didn't want to get into trouble because she knew Qiao Fei would be worried and send someone to watch her. So she did it on purpose to make him jealous. She didn't expect to get so many surprises. Beauty, this is from the guest at table 7. The waiter put down a cocktail. Beauty, this is from Mr. Song at table 16. The waiter put down a bouquet of roses. This is from the guest at table 33. He said you can order whatever you want and he'll pay for it. Lu Yan sat in an inconspicuous corner, but the waiter was so tired that he almost broke his leg. She sat there for less than 10 minutes and was discovered. Then people kept sending her flowers and drinks, and some even wanted to pay for her. Lu Yan didn't know whether to laugh or cry at their boldness. In a place like a bar, it was normal for men to want to woo a beautiful woman when they saw one. However, if some people were to use forceful means, then it would be a different story. Hearing Lu Yan's words, young Master Long's subordinate immediately went back to discuss it with his boss. What do you think? Young Master Long, that girl is very arrogant. She didn't want to come, and she said. What did she say? The man called young Master Long was holding a Chunghwa cigarette in his hand. His arm was covered in tattoos and his face was fierce. She said that it's very expensive for her to accompany you. Ah, what a joke. Expensive? Would I be afraid of the price? Go and tell her that one glass of wine is 10,000 yuan. All right. After the lackey heard his master's order, he immediately ran to the side of the road again. Out of breath, he said, Beauty, our young Master Long said that a glass of wine is 10,000 yuan. 10,000? Get out of my way. Lu Yan waved her hand and shooed him away. The table was still receiving gifts endlessly and it was going to be full soon. Some of the female customers in the bar also began to feel jealous. Who is that woman? She's so disgusting. She looks like a green tea bitch. Yeah, look at her chest. It's 32A at most. What's there to be proud of? That's right. She looks like a vixen, yet she sends so many flowers. Everyone must be blind. I've never seen this little girl before. Where does she come from? She doesn't look like she's from our circle. Is she a small-time actress? Both men and women began to be interested in Lu Yan's identity. No one knew who this mysterious woman was. She looked young and wore very simple clothes, but she had a stunning and beautiful face. Young Master Long, that girl said 10,000 yuan is too little. He asked if you were a beggar. Young Master Long's face darkened. Chapter 33-35. Young Master Long, do you want us to kidnap her for you? A bootlicking bodyguard immediately asked. No need. I don't like to force beautiful women. You guys don't know how to be gentle with women. I've been in the nightclub for years and have never seen such a beautiful and cute girl. Those socialites and heiresses can't even compare to 1/10,000th of her. I'm going to sleep with her today. I'll go and ask her if she's willing to pay 20,000 yuan. You fucking come back. Young Master Long immediately stopped the lackey. Yes, young Master Long, go and tell her one glass of wine will cost 100,000 yuan. What? 100,000 yuan? His lackey was dumbfounded. They were in the north and the custom there was to drink when you could. Many girls had been drinking with their elders since they were young and had a high tolerance for alcohol. If one glass of wine cost 100,000 yuan, if this girl could drink 3 glasses in a row, she would earn 300,000 yuan per second. Besides, although his young master had some money, he had never been so generous. Seemed he was really tempted. What are you waiting for? Go and fucking do it. Young Master Long kicked the lackey's butt. Yes, yes, yes. Young Master Long, I'll go right away. The lackey came up to Lu Yan again. Maybe because he was too anxious, he stumbled and fell to the ground. His face was right under Lu Yan's feet. Beauty. Our young Master Long said that a glass of wine is 100,000 yuan. The man gestured with 2 fingers and made a 10 sign. 100,000 yuan? Your young master only has so little money and you want to pick up girls? Go home and put on your open crotch pants. Stop fooling around. When the lackey came back, young Master Long's eyes were fixed on Lu Yan. Like a wolf staring at a sheep, his eyes glowed with a strange light. Boss, this woman is very arrogant. She humiliated you. What did she say? She said, Don't fucking stammer. Speak. Young Master Long slapped his lackey's face. She said you only have so little money and you want to pick up girls? Go home and put on your open crotch pants. Young Master Long did not get angry after hearing that. Dad, he laughed out loud. I like this girl. She has such a personality. I must conquer her in bed. The man called Young Master Long made a bold statement. I'm going all out today. Go and tell her that I'll pay $1 million for a glass of wine. Young Master Long, it's not worth it, all for a woman. His subordinates began to persuade him. What do you know? I'm happy and I have money. The one called Brother Long seemed to be competing as well. He asked his underlings to raise the price to a sky-high level. Beauty, our Young Master Long said that he'll pay $1 million for a glass of wine. Really? You're finally willing to spend your hard-earned money. How about this? You tell him to prepare $5 million in cash and leave it here. I'll go and drink it now. What do you mean? You don't trust our young master? Are you from the village? Don't you know that our Young Master Long is the young master of the Longxing Group? Our chairman only has one son and all the family business belongs to him. Do you know that our young master built a very popular real estate project, Longxiang Jiyuan? The project is over 100 million yuan. Wow, it's over 100 million yuan. That's a lot of money. I've never seen so much money in my life. Your young master is fucking awesome. Lu Yen laughed exaggeratedly. So don't be so ungrateful. Hurry up and leave. Our young master is waiting for you. The lackey urged Lu Yen. Chapter 33-36. Sure, I'll go and meet your very very rich young Master Long. Lu Yen was in a good mood, so she stood up and followed the lackey. Lu Yan's movement immediately attracted everyone's attention, so they all looked at young Master Long. Beauty. Good evening. Seeing Lu Yen walk up to him, young Master Long stammered nervously. Are you an idiot? Lu Yen chuckled. No. Seeing Lu Yen smile, the guy was even more infatuated. So you're stuttering? No, I'm not stuttering. I'm not usually like this. I'm just nervous. You're only like this when you're nervous. His lackey couldn't stand it and spoke for him. Get lost. Who told you to answer my question? Young Master Long was still not satisfied and slapped the person behind him. What's your name? Lu Yen continued to ask with a smile. My name is Chenglong. Wow, for words. So cool, Lu Yen said on purpose. Not for words. Chenglong. For words. Lu Yen couldn't help but laugh. Young Master Long, let me say it for you. Our boss's real name is Tao Chenglong. The lackey couldn't help but interrupt. Seeing his young master stutter nervously at the sight of a woman, he was anxious. Mr. Tao, I heard you want to invite me to drink with you? Sitting across from him, Lu Yen played with her delicate fingernails. I just want to get to know you and make friends, young Master Long stammered. Oh, I see. That's easy. I heard you just offered 1 million yuan for a glass of wine. Yeah. This time the guy learned his lesson. To avoid stuttering and being laughed at by the onlookers, he spoke less and only one word. Then you should prepare the money first. I don't lack money. Don't worry. Young Master Long patted his chest and promised. But it's our first time meeting. I don't believe you have millions of yuan in cash. He can transfer. WeChat scanning, is also fine. The kid stuttered as he spoke, making the people around him feel uncomfortable. Lu Yen couldn't stop laughing. She was used to fighting and killing in foreign countries. She didn't expect being an ordinary person would be so fun. Since you're so straightforward, that's fine too. With so many people watching, I believe you won't go back on your word. But since we're drinking together, then you'll drink with me, right? Of course. Young Master Ryong thought he was a good drinker, so when he heard that Lu Yen wanted to drink with him, he was immediately smug. Good. Let's go to the bar. Lu Yen waved her hand. At this moment, the waiter started serving the beer. Hey, wait. Beer's too boring. It's for kids. Lu Yen stopped the waiter. Everyone was slightly stunned. Then, what do you want to drink? Cocktail or fruit wine? The man called Young Master Long asked. Since we're in China, I'll do as the Romans do. How about erguo too? Baijiu? Hearing Lu Yen mention ergo to the guy froze. Yeah. Lu Yen nodded. Ah. Our young master is a good drinker. Woman, you're digging your own grave. Young Master Long's subordinates laughed behind him. If you drink too much, you have to come with me tonight. Finally, the guy spoke his mind. Chapter 33-37. Hey. If I get drunk, I'll go with you. But if you lose, remember to transfer the money to me. Don't worry. My card has 10 million yuan in it. There were too many onlookers, so the guy flaunted his wealth. With a bang, he took out a black gold card from his bag and placed it on the table. Young master, the chairman asked you to give this to the construction company. Shut up. It's none of your business. The guy named Young Master Long didn't want his subordinate to say it out loud, fearing he would lose face. Lu Yen smiled calmly and took out something that looked like chewing gum from her bag and began to chew it. At this moment, the waiter began to serve the sorghum liquor. At first he only took out 2 bottles. Since it was a small bottle, each bottle could only fill 2 glasses. Lu Yen glanced at the waiter. Bring out more bottles. Okay. The waiter nodded and turned to get more wine. The onlookers began to talk among themselves. The spendthrift of Longxing Group is out to burn money again. Yeah. I heard this guy is stupid but rich. He likes to play with women, but he's also very generous. Didn't his dad stop him from spending so much money? Last month, I heard he rewarded an online streamer with more than 1 million yuan in an hour. When he was about to have sex with her, he found out she was a man. Ah, that's right. This brat really doesn't give up on his evil intentions. That girl is also too pretty. Why would she drink with him? If she gets drunk later, I'm sure she'll be taken away and taken advantage of. Maybe the girl wants to. After all, that guy is so ugly. Many women throw themselves at him every day. This world is really degenerating with each passing day. The rich are the masters. Lu Yen wasn't angry at their discussion. Instead, she smiled faintly. After chewing the gum, Lu Yen stood up and opened the bottle of liquor with her bare hands. Her actions shocked the onlookers. Then Lu Yen filled many glasses with wine at a very fast speed. Finally, she tossed the bottle to the ground and glanced at the waiter. Set up the bar. 10 glasses for him and 10 glasses for me. What? 10 glasses? The waiter was dumbfounded. The onlookers were even more shocked. Will 10 cups of ergo to kill me? Even white wine shouldn't be drunk like this, right? What is it, Mr. Tao? Is there a problem? Lu Yen shrugged with a smile. No problem. The guy knew Lu Yen couldn't drink that much and was just trying to scare him. As soon as the waiter heard that there was no problem, he immediately filled the table with wine for both parties. Let's begin, Lu Yen said. You drink first. If you drink 1 cup, you drink 1 cup. The guy wasn't stupid enough to force Lu Yen to drink first. Lu Yen knew what he was thinking. Sure. Then Lu Yen stood up, picked up the first glass and started drinking. Then he downed 5 glasses in a row at a speed of 2 seconds per glass. After finishing the 5th cup, Lu Yen took a deep breath. Phew, I'm tired. Take a break. It's your turn. The kid was a little scared. After drinking for so many years, he had never seen someone drink like this. Faster than a drink, okay? Young Master Long, is she a master? One of his subordinates reminded him. I'm not afraid of a master. For the sake of his dignity, the kid had to drink. So he started drinking in front of everyone. But it was too much for him to drink continuously. Besides, the liquor was very spicy. He felt like his throat was going to smoke. After the 3rd cup, the guy named Young Master Long couldn't take it anymore. But he forced himself to drink. Finally, when he swallowed the 5th cup, tears came out of his eyes. The taste was extremely sour. I finished it. He shook the wine glass and showed off. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.